Hello and welcome to another episode of Mr. Boskin Does Some Math. Today we're doing Illustrative Math Grade 8 Unit 1 Lesson number 4. Okay, our first problem here says for each pair of polygons describe a sequence of translations, rotations, and reflections that will take polygon P to polygon Q. So we need to take this blue one over to the green one. How are we going to do that? This can be helpful if you want to trace it out on tracing paper and see just what you need to do. I know looking at that I'm going to have to rotate it. That's a 60-degree rotation around point A, and then translate it so that point A goes to H. So the first one here is a 60-degree clockwise rotation about point A. Then translate point A to point H. That will take figure P and put it exactly on top of figure Q. Okay, what's next over here? The first thing I see looking at these two figures is that they are not oriented the same. With the point on the right side, this one's pointing up, and this one over here with the point on the right side, the point is pointing down. Which means the first thing that would have to happen is a reflection. How do we want to reflect this? Well, that's up to you, but I would probably use the line AE maybe. Which gives us those two. There. So now, if I take that whole figure that gives me the figure here. Then let me just trace it again in another color. So the first thing I did was I took that figure and I reflected it. I'll even write it down. We reflected it over the line AE. That gave us this new figure here. Then, why don't I just translate it so that you can really pick any point you want as long as you go to the corresponding point on the other one. If I take point A, which is this one, and I translate from point A to point F, well, this figure on the black one, this point corresponds to this point on the green one. So translate from A to F. Okay, what's next? We're going to have to rotate it 60 degrees around F. And now they match up. "60 degrees around point F clockwise." Okay. Okay, now from P to Q. Okay, looking at these, a rotation, if I tried to rotate P a little bit so that the short side was on the bottom, it would be facing that way, the opposite of this one. So it's not a rotation to get there. We will have to reflect it. So let's reflect it over this line. Reflect it over the line BC. That way, point B and point C are on the line of reflection. We don't have to worry about moving them. It's just point A that moves. So if we do that, ooh, how nice is that? Now it's facing the correct way. We just have to translate it. Well, let's translate point B to point F. And then if I take this triangle and translate point B to point F, it's right on top of Q. So that takes care of that. What's next? Here's quadrilateral ABCD and line L. Draw the image after reflecting it across line L. So we can do this using tracing paper, trace out the figure, trace the line, and then flip it and line up the line on the upside down tracing paper, and you will get your new figure. Or we just go perpendicular to our line of reflection, equidistant, which is much easier to do with a ruler. Approximately there. Approximately there. Give it a new color so we can see just how well I did. So it will look approximately like that. Here's quadrilateral ABCD. Draw the image of quadrilateral ABCD after each rotation using B as the center. So we want to rotate ABCD using B as the center point. 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise is that way. That looks like 90 degrees, and our center is B. So that's what the 90 degrees clockwise would look like. 120 clockwise is going to be an extra 30 degrees. So it's going to look about like that. So that this would be a 120 degree angle. Or 30 degrees counterclockwise. "30 degrees counterclockwise." Let me get this lined back up here. Okay. 30 degrees counterclockwise means we're spinning the other way. 30 degrees. So it's going to look like that, but with this being a 30-degree angle. Again, for these, best way to do it, tracing paper and a protractor. Okay, I believe that was our last problem. This has been another episode of Mr. Boskin Does Some Math. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.